Hello, YouTube. I'm just waiting for TikTok people to turn up before I get going. I'm a parenting coach, and I do daily lives for about a year and a half now, I guess. Okay. Hello. So my chair's all wonky. Fixing my chair, excuse me. While we're waiting for people to turn up, I'd love to know where you're from and how old your kids are. I'm here in Vancouver, Canada. My kids are 33 and 28, and I've got my first grandchild due. So that's where I'm at. I'm done with all that now. I'm all finished. Okay, so where are you from and how old are your kids? Okay, what time is it? 6 o'clock on Sunday. 6 o'clock on Sunday night for me now. So where are you from and how old are your kids? See some new people here. See some regulars. I also see quite a few new people here. Philippines, 1 year old. Hi, Philippines. Crystal. You've been here before? I know I've had lots of people from the Philippines. I don't remember Crystal L. Okay. So where are you from and how old are your kids? Wyoming, 5.5. It's funny, I don't know why, but whenever I see a word "and," I always think it's 5, and then you got a half-year-old, a 6-month-old. I don't know, Crystal. Oh, first time. Okay, that's why I didn't recognize the name. It's not that I remember all the names, but when I see them, I can just sort of think, oh, I haven't seen that one before. I always try and see who's coming in. Washington, USA, 22-month-old. That's Washington State or DC? 22-month-old. Most people have who turn up. Oh, sugar. Most people who turn up here have toddlers on the lives. Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Never heard of Gatlinburg. Maybe I have. Tennessee. 2.5. Welcome. State. Oh, Washington State. Okay, so we're neighbors. I'm here in Vancouver. Australia, 14, 13, and 10. My son was born in Sydney. My daughter was born in Brisbane. I was there for about 20 years. All girls. Wow. Sorry, TikTok's giving me warnings. I don't know why. It often does that. I don't know what I'm doing on here. See, I'm smart. I wore black tonight. I keep wearing white to these lives, and then I can't read the writing because it's all in white. Yay, I can see. Oh, all my white tops are in the wash, so. It's next to Pigeon Forge, where Dolly Parton is from. Oh, I love Dolly Parton. I could listen to her talk for hours. I love a Southern accent, but she's just so entertaining. She's so positive, and yeah, she's very entertaining. Very good common sense. I find a lot of people who are raised in poverty, poor, like my mother was and Dolly Parton was, they tend to, you either sink or swim. They either come out with a really positive, funny attitude, like, you know, they're really funny, or they're, I guess, negative too. But yeah, she is my cousin. Oh, is she? Oh, how cute. Oh, say hi to her for me. I live in Tennessee too. Oh, excellent. I don't know much about southern states, and I've never been there. I think I'm going to get everywhere one day. I don't know why, but I don't really want to fly around the U.S. I always see myself renting a Winnebago or something and driving around. I don't know why. Only by marriage, though. Okay. Yeah, still related. I live on a reservation in Warm Springs, Oregon. I love your videos. I have a 3 and a 1 year old. Excellent. Welcome. 3 and 1 year old. Okay. Oh, you're just coming out of it then, because 3 is when they start to get some common sense. That's when they can start to think before they act. At 3 years old, so you're just coming out of it. Or it's when they find their power. If you're not a leader, they often find their power and go crazy at 3 years old, because they go, wait a minute, you're not a leader. I think I will be. So, hey, good to see you. Any tips on no 3? Okay. Yeah, I was just talking about that. Anyway, so let's get going. My name's Lisa. I'm a parenting coach. I've been doing this forever. If you go in the link above, you'll see you can hire me for coaching, or you can buy one of my courses. I actually have that Bratbusters boot camp, which teaches you how to become a leader in 5 weeks. And then I have mini toddler courses. Also, my behavior board course is completely free. So you can sign up for that. Oh, that teaches you how to give respect to get it, because you're on that behavior board too. Oklahoma, excellent. I'm not very good I'm just learning Instagram and just sort of new on there. And I went to answer, I didn't know about messages. So I went to answer them. About an hour later, I got through, I don't know how many, but I didn't get to very I didn't know. I don't know why I didn't know about that. I never know what's going on here. I just come on here and talk all the time, but I really don't know what's going on. So yeah, I felt kind of bad about that. There were like tons of messages on there, and I didn't know what I was doing. So if I don't answer your messages, it's just because I don't know what I'm doing. I haven't seen them probably. On email, I don't tend to answer parenting questions on there, or else that's all I'd ever be doing because I am running a business here. So, but I answer all your parenting questions here. I don't tend to get to comments on TikTok. It's overwhelming. Like, cause I'm coaching, right? So I'm serving my parents, my clients. But I hope to get to more of that. Do you teach online? It's all online. I don't have any local clients right now. I rarely get anyone local, mostly American and from all over the world. Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Egypt, doesn't matter where you live. Do you know, I heard something really interesting the other day. I don't know if this is true or not, but I'm really into healthy food. And this guy was Russian, and he said there's no obesity problem in Russia because Russians see food as fuel. That's why their food is so boring. I never heard that before. I thought that was kind of interesting. That's why their food is so boring, because they just see it as fuel. I don't know why that struck me as so fascinating. Is that true? Anyway, do you teach? Okay. Sorry, I keep getting this. It says I'm using too many apps. I might be shut down. If I'm shut down, sorry about that. Your educational background. I was going to be a child psychologist. I actually signed up to do it in one of my prerequisite courses. And after a week, they kicked me out. I asked too many questions, and the other students started asking me questions because I had tons of experience with kids before I even started that. And yeah, what they were teaching was a bunch of garbage. That was 40 years ago, more than 40 years ago now. And I'm sure, sorry, a reminder from TikTok here. I don't know why. Anyway, so yeah, I'm sure they've improved what they were saying, but it was all this holier than thou, trying to outsmart kids, and I do not agree with that at all. So you want to be a leader, but you don't want to be this holier than thou kind of thing. Anyway, that was, so I didn't do any formal training at all. Kids taught me everything. I started volunteering in daycare centers when I was 11 years old. And the daycare workers used to ask me, you're fun. The kids love being with you, but they all respect you. How do you do it? And I was 11. I said, I don't know. But anyway, that's what I teach now. You want to be fun. You want to be friends with kids. You want to be the fun one, the goofy one, but you want them to want to please you. And when they're teenagers, they just don't want to disappoint you. That's that leadership role. You want to be a mentor. Anyway, so that's all my background. I don't have any formal education. I stay away from that because there is no degree in parenting. A lot of my clients are school principals, teachers, and they're child psychologists. They have all the degrees up the wazoo. I couldn't do what they do, but they struggle with parenting, just like you. So yeah, they understand how to teach kids. They understand certain things, but parenting is like nothing else. I wish there was a PhD in it. I think if you can get respect from troubled teens and you can finish the job with your own kids and you've raised, that's the PhD in parenting. There is no course on parenting. Child development degrees don't seem to make a lot of difference because a huge portion of my clients have them. So, and I couldn't do what they do though. Okay. They're different roles. Parenting is like nothing else. I couldn't teach. God, I'd soil myself if I had to get up in front of a classroom and teach. I couldn't do it. Okay. My son has a heck of a temper, I'll tell you. Yeah, some of them do. You're either born with that or you're not. There are 4 things that you're either born with or you're not. So with little kids, one is a temper, tantrums. A temper manifests itself. It's a personality trait. You are born with it or you're not. I've never had a tantrum. My daughter never had a tantrum. My son had tantrums. So it's a temper, but you learn how to deal with it as you get older. By the time they're 3, 3.5, they can learn how to deal with it in better ways. I told my son, just go in your room and scream into a pillow. Don't drag the rest of the household down. And then he did maybe once or twice. And then he thought, well, this is stupid. And then he just stopped having tantrums. Anyway, the other one is climbing. They're either born to climb or they're not. And this doesn't go through life. I mean, with toddlers. And then also aggressiveness. The babies, you can see it with babies. They'll bite other babies and they'll laugh when the other baby cries, stuff like that. They're born to do that or they're not. It's not your fault. They're born to do this. And runners. The kids who don't tend to look back to see where you are, they just take off in the middle of the street or wherever. Those are 4 things that are really annoying with toddlers, and they're either born to do them or they're not. Anyway, if you have a child who has temper tantrums, throughout life they will have a temper. It doesn't mean that they're going to express it. It means that it's in there and they've just learned how to manage it. It is a personality trait. Someone said, you're wrong. I said, yeah, bull. It is something in you. You're always going to have a temper. Always. You just learn how to manage it. That's all. You learn how to not let it take over. Or not. Some people never do. Yeah, my son, I think his last tantrum was 3.5, and he didn't have tons of them. Some kids, he wasn't ranked up to level 10 with tantrums, but he was maybe level, I'd say 2 or 3 with tantrums. He didn't have them all the time. He didn't have them every day, but he'd have maybe, I don't know, one a week or one every 2 weeks or something. Yeah, they were annoying as crap, I'll tell you. Okay, let's get going here. Okay. Do toddler temper tantrums get worse? Huh, depends on you. If you feed it with attention, these mini therapy sessions, discussing all their big feelings, big emotions, trying to calm them down, trying to self-regulate them, that's a term that's out there, but a bunch of garbage. What do? Unscrew the lid off their skull and turn a dial? You can't self-regulate someone. They have to learn how to process the tantrums all by themselves because they're watching you. If you're ignoring it and just waiting, you are decreasing tantrums in duration, frequency, and intensity. Okay, so it's all up to you. They will get better. They usually get worse before they get better, though. They ramp up about 2.5. They're usually probably at their peak. Don't quote me on that. I'm just saying it's common that they're at their peak at that age. And then by the time they're 3, they start to peter out because you're ignoring tantrums. Children lean into and only do what works. By the time they're 3 years old, they start to reason this stuff out. If tantrums never work, because attention is tantrum food, if you don't feed it, it tends to peter out and disappear. You put your focus, you put your energy, you put your attention toward what you want. That's why I say you deal with bad behavior. Tantrums are not bad behavior, by the way. That's just a total loss of control. It's a loss of, they don't want to hear no. They didn't get what they want, when they want, how they wanted it. That's not behavior. But you deal with bad behavior, but you focus on the good kid. You ignore the tantrum, but you focus on the good kid. So you ignore the crazy, which is the tantrum. Soon as they stop, oh, you want to read a book? Like it never even happened. I hate the word big feelings. Aren't they garbage? Oh, Jesus. Lord help me. Yeah, that's what I'm up against all the time. What about their big feelings and big emotions? Oh my God, how much experience do you have with kids? I never say that, but whenever someone says that, I'm like, how many decades of experience do you have with kids to say something like that? It's so ridiculous. It's just trendy. All this please your parent style that's so trendy right now, it was invented 30 years ago to please the mother. It has nothing to do with the children. It's actually a disservice to the children. It's feeding the mother's needs. That's all it's doing. You're raising self-entitled snowflakes with mental health issues with this please your parent style. Behaviors are communication. Right, but you can guide them into healthy behaviors. Exactly, you guide them into healthy behaviors. You are 100% responsible for your child behavior, 100%. Their basic personality, their basic tendencies, they're born with. But whatever they say or do is all on you. 100% is a direct result of your leadership or lack of. So you guide them into making good choices with their behavior. That's all you're doing here. It's 100% on you, 100%. Unless they have some mental disability or something. And I've worked with a lot of those kids. And ADHD is not a mental disability. I'm talking about severely, disabled children. I've worked with a lot of those too, and that's different. By the way, it's not on you until they're about 3, when they can stop and reason. They can stop and think. Before then, toddlers are just crazy. That's not on you. All the toddler stuff, that has nothing to do with you. Toddlers are crazy. They don't make any sense. Okay, I'm going to read you my top 5 tips for toddlers, okay? Just so you understand where I'm coming from with all this. These are my top 5 tips for parenting toddlers. Number 1, child-proof your home so you never have to say no. Number 2 is have a toy rotation system so your kids are never bored. Number 3 is if you want to connect with your toddler, you do it in their world. You don't connect with them at the nail salon. You get down on their level, watch how they play, and you mimic them and you play in their world. Number 4 is stop trying to figure them out. They're not figure-outable. They don't make any sense. They might even go like this and smear poop on the wall. To that toddler, that might be completely normal. They're just forming. It's not so much that they're crazy. I call them crazy all the time. But it's not so much that. It's just they haven't developed sanity yet. They haven't got context of the world yet or themselves. Number 5 is if you want to discipline a toddler, stop with the mini therapy sessions. Do not discuss all their big feelings, big emotions. It's garbage. It's just the trend right now. It's all fit to feed the mom, to make her feel good. It has nothing to do with the toddler. It's a disservice to them. They need consistent corrective actions, and you're always calm when you do it. And you say no, and you take that toy away or whatever they hit with. Consistent corrective actions, not words, because they learn through repetition. Okay. Okay, well, this comes up all the time. What if you ignore the tantrum, but he grabs your eyes or face it? You restrain them. Whenever they get physically violent during a tantrum or any other time, you just restrain them, and you still don't look at them or talk to them. It's just part of it. You often have to physically restrain them. They're little, just say no and just go like that. Don't look at them, and then let go and walk or wander around doing your chores as if you don't even notice them. You're just sort of waiting for that tantrum to end, right? But yeah, so okay. Please tell how to control tantrums of 6 years old and teenagers. That's kind of on you. Um, if they're still having tantrums by 6 years old and over, generally you're the pleaser parent. They don't tend to do that with the authority style parent or the leader. I'm not the authority and I'm not the pleaser. That's the authority is the old fashioned way of parenting. It's not bad. The new fashioned way is the pleaser parent style. Total train wreck. It's a disaster. You're raising self-entitled snowflakes with mental health issues. At least with the old-fashioned authority style figure, you're raising kids who are usually independent. They have confidence. They're problem solvers. They haven't had everything handed to them. The pleaser parent style came about 30 years ago, and it started, I remember this, it started with the participation awards. I remember when that first happened, I thought, are you freaking kidding me? Participation awards. Oh, can't even tell you how much I hated it. And I saw it all, I watched it all as it was happening. I thought, what a bunch of crap. Anyway, so yeah, work on your leadership skills. If you're having problems with tantrums with 6-year-olds and 12-year-olds, it's you. It's your leadership skills or lack of. Work on your leadership skills. That's all I teach. We never fix kids or teenagers or toddlers here. We are fixing and teaching parents here. Work on your leadership skills. You'll sail right through the teen years. Once you're a good leader, it's just everything falls into place. It's all on you. You can only change yourself anyway. You can't fix a kid. It's ridiculous. You fix yourself and they will follow you. It's just the way it is. I worked with troubled teens. I mentored them. And I don't go into great detail about all that. In coaching, when I'm working with parents, I used to specialize in teen crisis work. And when I was talking to them, I told a lot of stories because I learned more about myself and life and kids with troubled teenagers than anyone else. And because talk about damaged and testing you. God, they're good. They are good. They can spot a weakness from a mile away. I'm like, how did they even figure that out? They're just brilliant at trying to get under your skin. You can't let them. Absolutely can't let them. Anyway, if you want my help, if you have a teenager, that is coaching. I do coaching on Zoom, and it's all up above in the link. Teenagers are usually 5 sessions. Anyway. And you're not going to like me in the first session at all. Because I always tell parents of teenagers, if you're really struggling to get respect, there's certain things that you have to do to start the ball rolling. And parents often don't want to do it, but they have to. They understand once they've done it, they get it. And they're it's a thing of beauty. I love teenagers are my favorite age. Okay. How to handle tantrums in public, the exact same way you do at home. If you're a different parent when you're out, how can you expect them to respect you? But if it's somewhere where they're disturbing people, like in a restaurant or a church or something like that, you take them out to the parking lot or put them in the car and then you ignore them. You still ignore them. You're just physically picking them up and moving them if you have to. But yeah, exact same. If you're going to be a different, like I was 100% the exact same mother, no matter where we were, what time of day, what time of night, I was 100% predictable. My kids knew exactly what I was going to say and do at any given time. So why would they be different kids? Why would, you know what I mean? Like they trusted me. There's a lot of trust with that. If you're inconsistent, they see you like a liar. It is. They see you. Inconsistency is a form of lying, really. So you're one way. It's like, yeah, you're in trouble. Don't ever do that. When we're out, you can get away with anything because I'm too embarrassed to discipline you when we're out. And when I was disciplining my kids when we were out, I was like, come on, everyone, watch. You know, I was proud of it. I was proud of being a leader. I don't talk about step parenting because if I told you how to deal with that, I can't tell you how to deal with someone else's kid. Because if I told you something and the parent didn't like it, then that wouldn't work, right? But teenagers, she's lying for a reason. You don't address the lying, you address the underlying reason behind it. So I would have to figure that out. If you want my help, you'd have to hire me for that. I have to figure it out. That's just a symptom of a problem. So I'd have to figure out the problem. 9-month-old screams anytime we have to take something away from him, trade items with him, bad. He kind of, but he's only 9 months old. You don't really discipline a 9-month-old. Every time you take something away, he screams. I would be more inclined to pick him up and cart him around with me. So you take something away, he starts screaming. I would probably cart him around, but facing away from you. So he can't headbutt and bite and all that. And you're just walking around. You might be humming, going like, like you don't even kind of notice he's there, but you're very soothing and very like, you're in charge. You're in charge. If she doesn't see mom, I still need to talk to the dad. See what I'm saying? I've been doing this for 17 years. I know better. I don't teach anything but parenting. And oftentimes there are step parents in the coaching session, but I need a parent there. Unless you have full custody and there's no father in the picture. Took advice about my depressed teenager. Be a leader and trust them. Step back, safe landings. Okay, how's that going? Are you a client or just on here? I don't recognize Chris spelled that way, but I don't know anymore. I have to be really careful because I sometimes get clients with the same first and last name. So I have to be very careful. Okay, so how's it going, Chris? Safe place to land. That is so important. I say with teenagers, the two most important skills, well, there's actually three now, I've added one. I'll read it out so I don't forget. I won't forget. Anyway, the most important skill when you're parenting teenagers is listening. You listen to understand, and then you stop talking. You don't gather information to lecture with. They want your advice, they'll ask for it. They already know what it is anyway, okay? They just want an ear. They want a safe place to land. They want to be able to tell you anything, and they will when you get good at this. So that's the number one skill with parenting teenagers is listen to understand and show empathy, and then stop talking. The second one is you negotiate pretty much everything. So you say something like this. You say, look, I want your dirty clothes in the hamper before you go to school. What do you want from me? It's kind of like that, give and take, give and take, give and take, because they're teenagers. Things change when they're teenagers. And then the third one is, shoot, I forgot it. Oh, don't sweat the small stuff. Save your energy for the big stuff. And even then, be very careful how you handle it. You never really tell teenagers what to do. I never really told my kids what to do. People find that hard to believe because they were so respectful, but that's why they were respectful. Okay. But oops, I can't see. How to make discipline to 6-year-old and know her responsibility to do. Well, that's on you. Like, what do you mean? If you do it well, I don't know what you mean by that, actually. You want her to be self-motivated and so without consequences. There has to be systems in place. How do I put this? If you want your children to be responsible, self-disciplined, like my kids were self-disciplining, they knew to make the bed, they knew to put their laundry away every single day, their toys, they just did it. And because they knew there was no TV unless it was done. It wasn't like I said, if you don't do that, there's no TV. They might say, can we watch TV? I'd say, oh, is everything done? Oh, sorry, mom. And they'd run around doing it, and then they'd watch TV. It was like that. They learned you got to do what you need to do before you can do what you want to do. There has to be consequences, a knee-jerk reaction. It's like, why don't we all speed constantly down the freeway? Because we might get a ticket, right? There's consequences. Why do we pay the mortgage? Why do we pay the rent? Because we'll get kicked out if we don't. We're all driven. We're all motivated by consequences. What if you don't do your taxes? You might go to jail. See what I mean? So you have to sort of understand, they got to do what they need to do before they can do what they want to do. That's what accountability is all about. You know, when I meet someone in my personal life, I don't necessarily want them to find me online because it can get kind of creepy sometimes. So I tell them, they say, what do you do? And I say, well, I own my own business and I teach accountability and respect. That's all I'm doing here. I'm teaching you how to be accountable and show your children respect, and they will do the same with you. Because you're setting an example here. You lead by example. What is a system that has worked? I repeat myself 10 times or even start raising. Well, I don't repeat myself ever. You'd have to give me a sample. I have too many ideas for that. You'd have to give me an example. I already said one. The chores. I mean, there was just no TV unless they'd done their homework. There was no PlayStation game unless they'd done the dishes. They just understood that, so I never had to tell them to do anything. It just wasn't done. Like I have no memory. I literally have no memory of ever telling my kids to do their homework or go to bed. I have no memory of that. They just knew. You just do it. And even then, they weren't obedient little soldiers. I was looking recently, my daughter got married recently, and my ex-husband and I and my daughter were here at my place just before the wedding. And he said, well, why don't we look at some old home videos? And I always sort of think of my kids as quiet. They were so easy and respectful. They were loud. They were up themselves. They were so sure of themselves because they were raised by a leader. And their dad was very supportive too. He's a great dad. But he wasn't the lead. He was the pleaser. I was the leader. You only need one leader. But yeah, when they're raised with a leader, they are confident. They know who they are. My God, they were loud. I thought, because I'm very loud. So I thought, wow, they were strutting around. They were full of themselves. So yeah, that's what you want. You want kids who are confident. Okay, your toddler cries for no reason. They usually cry for a reason. But what you're saying is they don't cry for any good reason. Not in your view, but in their view, they do. I've been sending him to his room. Okay, that's timeout. I hate timeout. Can't stand it. It's just a form of shame, humiliation, and punishment. It's not a learning lesson at all. There's no lesson in timeout. It's like you're not even worth talking to. You go sit in the corner. It's just shaming. So yeah, I don't do that. Just keep watching and you'll get it. I have toddler courses if they're 3 and above. I have Bratbusters boot camp. You can learn all this in 5 weeks. But yeah, that timeout is a form of shame. It's shaming. It's humiliating. Could you imagine if you made a mistake at work and your boss said, you go sit in the corner, you're 36, sit there for 36 minutes, or in my case, 62 minutes. Huh? But yeah, it's just a form of shaming. It's humiliating, and it doesn't do anything but make you feel bad. You want kids to feel good about themselves, not bad. And you do that by leading them, guiding them into making good choices, and then they feel great about themselves. Okay, not a question, but being pregnant with my first, you calm me down so much. Thank you. I want to reiterate too, parenting is messy. Life is messy. None of this is about perfection. It's about doing a pretty good job. Don't expect too much from yourself. By the way, I never did. I thought I was a great mother. I was very confident at it. And when I messed up, my kids are very quick to point it out. Mom, do you think you came down a little bit hard on us last night? And I go, yeah, what do you want? And they'd say, we'd like to go to the water slide park today. So I was accountable too. I had fun with it. So even when you mess up, it can be used as your advantage. I used to say to my kids, I said, I'm great at apologizing. And I really am. I'm very good. And my kids are too. So I know how to apologize effectively. And my son said, that's because you've had so much practice. You got to be accountable. It's not about being this holier than thou, smarter than that. You don't outsmart kids, but you're really good at leading. You're really good at guiding them into making good choices and making them feel good about themselves. When you're the source of them liking themselves and being proud of themselves, I've never seen a kid acting out who's proud of themselves. Their self-esteem's in the toilet, guaranteed. So when they have high self-esteem and you're the source of that, they want to please you. And then when they're teenagers, they just don't want to disappoint you. That is your superpower. 7-year-old is always whining. I don't know why. That's because of you. You fed it. By that age, they only do what works. So it means it works. It means you give into it or it upsets you. And perhaps that child doesn't feel validated and doesn't get enough attention, doesn't feel close enough to you. They're whining to get attention. Why would the 7-year-old whine to get attention? Because they don't feel that they get enough from you. So I'm suggesting you got to work on your leadership skills. I have Bratbusters Boot Camp. It's a 5-week course. It's online if you're interested. That might help you to understand all this. It's in my link above there, as are my other toddler courses and my coaching. It's all in the link above. Sorry, I just had to check something. So I just got a notification. I'll tell you why in a second. I have to look at it. Okay, never mind. The reason I had to look at it is because I have a potential crisis client coming up, and I thought it was from them. So if I've got a client in crisis, that's the life and death stuff, usually teenagers, then I drop everything. So it's just the way it is. Just the way it is. I spent a lot of time in psych wards with depressed teenagers because their clients had hired and their parents had hired me. And all of their parents that I've worked with, that the teens were depressed, all were pleaser parents. the pleaser parents. None of them were the authority, not a good authority anyway. They gave in a lot. Authorities don't give in. Their authorities are pretty consistent. But the pleaser parent, they tend to give in. They can be push, then they give in. That's the pleaser parent. So yeah, they were all the pleaser parent style. I don't get a lot of people arguing with me anymore. I miss that. It sounds kind of crazy, but I felt like when I first came on TikTok about a year and a half ago, I came in with a bang, like I just blew up overnight. And I got attacked. Like, I won't go into it, but seriously, people were coming after me. I was a threat to other people who were teaching parenting. I was a big threat on here because I'm different, right? And I go against what they're teaching. And I don't look at them. I never look at them. Anyway, I stay in my lane. Why would I care? Anyway, so, but yeah, you know why that was exciting to me? Because I thought, oh, I'm shaking things up. And now I think, am I still shaking things up? Like, it's kind of a little bit, it's not quite as satisfying when I don't get all the attacks anymore. Does that make any sense? But yeah, I was just thinking yesterday, I did a live yesterday and there was all positive and I thought, I miss all the attacks. I miss it. Don't make them up, but if you feel one coming on, go for it. Because that's when you know that, like, it's when people say, but that's ridiculous. And I'm like, oh, here we go. I love that because I like to be challenged. That's why some of my favorite clients are child psychologists because they really want to challenge me. And I mean, they understand parenting is different. You know, I couldn't do their job and they struggle with parenting. That's my specialty. But I love being challenged. Love it. What reminded me of that? Oh, never mind. I just got an email from someone. Anyway, best way to correct a 1-year-old. Not so much. You don't really correct them. It's really gentle up until about 16 months. Then it sort of shifts a little bit and you get a bit more into no and then you walk away. With a little one like that, that's still a baby. To me, they're babies until they're about 15 months old. They kind of turn into toddlers at 16 months old. So you just say a gentle no. You don't want to make them cry with the no, but it's okay to make them cry by taking something away that they shouldn't have. And then you divert their attention or redirect them. You don't use bribery, like diversion with a lollipop or candy, but you maybe just read a book quietly out loud to them and they might crawl in your lap or something like that. So you redirect them. But yeah, you don't really discipline babies. But you're still guiding them. You're just revving up to all this stuff. 1-year-old throw themselves. Yeah, lots of them do that. I've had lots of clients who I've suggested they put foam helmets on their kids. Some of them headbang they just instantly start banging their head on the floor, on the corner of the coffee table. And I say, get a foam helmet. And you know how quickly those kids figure out, wait a minute, if I don't bang my head, this thing doesn't have to go on there. They figure that out. It's amazing how quick they can learn when it's something they really don't like. So, but yeah, a lot of them do that. You just restrain them or put a foam helmet on. You physically restrain them. You say no, and then you just hold them. Don't look at them. Don't talk to them. Don't try and read them. The mini therapy sessions are garbage. It's all about actions, consistent corrective actions. So just restrain them. I actually have a course called Toddler Tantrum Busting. If you're interested, that's in the link above. Goes into that. Not enough attention. Is that the 7-year-old whining? Yeah. So I was right about that. Is that the 7-year-old? Yes, it is. Yeah, not enough attention. Yeah. You want to give them the right kind of attention, though. Are they just crying because they're used to being spoiled and you don't always spoil them and they want to be spoiled all the time? Or are you truly not meeting their needs by bonding with them and connecting with them? So there's different types of attention. There's the positive attention, which is the connection and the bonding. Then there's the negative attention where you just hand over money and toys and give them whatever they're asking for. So. But either way, you can still you want to become a leader either way. And part of leadership is it's all about connecting with your kids, especially with teenagers. With little ones, you discipline them to get respect. With teenagers, you've got to get respect before you can even consider disciplining them. But yeah, it's about connecting. It's all about connecting. Your relationship with your child is everything. No, putting my 3-year-old in his pack and play when he starts hitting and scratching. No, I don't like that. You're putting him in jail, and what's he learning? Nothing. Yeah, it's not horrible, but I would never do it. I want them to be chasing me around, hitting and scratching, because I want the scene. I want the scene. I want to show I can handle it. When you put them somewhere like that and cage them, it looks like you don't know what to do. So I want them chasing me down, trying to hit me. I do, because that's my opportunity to exercise my leadership. I would just restrain them. No. And then I don't look at them or talk to them. I just restrain them. Then I let go, walk away. If they chase me again, I do it again. And then as soon as they calm down, you got to be quick. As soon as they calm down, do you want to go to the park? So you ignore the crazy and you deal with the bad, but then you reward the good, you reward the calm. Okay? They learn. Boy, they learn. They're like that. They learn that. Do you know the quickest kids that I've worked with to turn around and get respect from are the most difficult ones? Those are the ones that people hand them over to me and go, good luck with this one. And I always think, oh, that'll be the easiest one to turn around. Do you know why? Because when an out of control kid comes up against a leader, they almost go like this. Oh, finally, thank God. It's like that's what they've been waiting for. They love it. All children need, crave, and want leadership. If you provide that for them, you'll just see everything turn around. That's why I have Bratbusters boot camp. That's a 5-week course, and it's all about your leadership skills. That's all it is. We deal with kids' behavior, yes, but it's all about your leadership skills. And once they come up against a leader, they just, self-esteem goes up, confidence goes up. They respect you. They respect themselves. They respect others. Everything falls into place. It all starts and ends with you, your leadership. Is your focus on positive reinforcement? I don't word it like that. My focus is on connecting with them and having a good relationship with them and making them feel good about themselves. But I don't reward them for good behavior. That's ridiculous. That is like the ridiculous. Reward charts are stupid. Do you know why? Because if you have a reward chart for a child, and they work at school is an institution, it's completely different. Huge portion of my clients are teachers because they try and use whatever they've used at school at home and it tanks. Anyway, a reward chart says to your child, you're normally rotten, but if you should happen to be good, you'll get a reward. That's what you're saying to your child. That's what positive reinforcement, it's like a reward chart kind of thing. I used to say to my kids, your reward is just having me as a mother. Like they go, oh yeah, okay, thanks, Mom. But like they just didn't get rewards for me good because they were good all the time. I'd be rewarding them 24/7. So, but yeah, you don't reward good behavior. That's my baseline expectation. My son was in grade 2 and the teacher called me on her lunch hour to tell me this. She goes, you won't believe what your son said. She said to him, why are you so nice? He was in grade 2. And he looked up at her and he says, Mommy makes us be nice. And I'm like, yeah, that's my job. Darn right, teachers love me. And I always told the teachers, if my kids ever step a toe out of line, never discipline them. That's my job. I'm going to do it. They never stepped a toe out of line. Why would they? They were respectful. Okay, I've been working, this is Cap. Oh, you're regular. I've been working on calm leadership and man, it's helped so much. Oh God, good for you. That makes my day. That makes my day. When people say that they're putting these practices into their life and it's helping, I'm thrilled. Thanks so much, Cap. That's on you too. You're doing the work, right? I'm just leading you there. You're doing the work. So good for you. Pat yourself on the back. Take yourself out for a special coffee. Okay, what to do if toddlers won't stay in bed. This comes up a lot. I've done a lot of bedtime courses. If you want to look that up, just look up Bratbusters bedtime and a whole bunch of stuff will pop up. It's kind of twofold, but I'll just go into the second part. When you've put your kids to bed and you say, now you stay in bed, good night, I love you. The first time they get out of bed, you say, I said it's bedtime, and you put them back in bed. The second time you say one word, bedtime, put them back in bed. Every time after that, you don't look at them or talk to them. But you're very calm and slow when you do this. You just calmly put them back in bed. Only one body part might touch the bed because they're kicking and screaming. I don't care. What do you care? That's not leadership. Don't react to what they're doing. Just keep putting them back in bed like you know what you're doing. But don't let them get out of the door. But if it's in the middle of the night and they get up in the middle of the night, then you just calmly get back, put them back in bed, and then sit in the edge of your bed and wait for them to get up again until they've fallen back asleep. Just keep doing it. You can wait them out. It's just a game here, like to them. You can wait them out. You got to win that game though. I've dealt with this a lot in coaching, and parents, they say that I say it's usually one night of sheer hell, and then they often never get up again. And I won't go on about it. I tell the same stories all the time, but there is a very funny story about a dad who did, it was till 5 a.m. It was a much older kid. He was up until 5 a.m. with this kid, putting him back to bed, and he was cursing me all night long, the dad was. And that kid never got up again, not once. So yeah, for weeks, he never got up again. So it's one night of sheer hell. And then they just learn. Once you've shown that you know what you're doing, they don't tend to fight you, they tend to relax into it. They lean into it because they like it. They love leadership. They crave it. They want it. That's why I was popular with kids, because I was fun. I was always the goofy one. I was always crazy Lisa, like when I was working with kids, but I don't take any crap. And kids don't want to give you crap. They want someone who can handle their crap. So it's a natural thing. I agree. Calm leadership has changed our home. Excellent. That makes my day. I second that. This is hard to implement, but man, it works. It just does. It's leadership. And what is it mostly about? What is this about? Is it about disciplining bad behavior, or is it about focusing on the good kid and connecting with them, making them feel good about themselves? My focus was always making them like themselves when they were with me. Boy, the power I had because of that. When they like themselves, when you bring out the best in a child, they'll do anything for you. Think about that. What if you're with, even as adults, if we're with someone who makes us feel like $1,000,000, would you ever be rude to that person? Don't you want to be around them? It's exact same with children. Exactly the same. It's the same feeling. They just naturally want to please you because they feel great about who they are when they're with you. You bring out the best in them. That's what this is all about. Not reacting is the hardest, I'd say. That's like not eating ice cream is the hardest part of dieting, but it's worth it. It's one of those things. It's something you're just going to have to learn to do. The reacting is it's their power. So you don't want to hand over the power. So you're taking on your child. Okay, so you're reacting. So you're not a leader. If you're reacting to their tantrums and all that, you become part of it. If you jump off the cliff with them, who's on the top of the mountain to pull them up? Nobody. It's just your challenge. I can't help you with that. Parents say, but how do I do it? Because it drives me nuts. That's your challenge. It's like going to Weight Watchers, but how do I not eat potato chips and ice cream? That's your challenge. I can tell you what to do, how to be healthy. I can tell you how to work out. I love all that stuff. But I can't go into your house and drag you to the gym and throw away all your potato chips and ice cream. It's like that with parenting. You just have to do it. The thing is, once you start seeing results, it gets easier. Someone said to me once years ago, I've always been into fitness and health, and they said, don't you just want to enjoy life? You should see me working out. Like that is joy. Feeling good and healthy is my joy. Yeah, but it's like that with parenting. Don't you just want to relax and enjoy your kids? Yeah, being a leader is where the joy is. This is the joy. Parenting was the most fun I ever had. My kids and I just laughed all the time. It was fun because we had that connection. We had that relationship. We understood each other. It was mutual respect. I was accountable too. If I messed up, boy, they loved it. Oh my God, if I messed up, they instantly looked at each other like this because they knew I'd be making amends. I'd go, oh, shoot, what do you want? And they always said, oh, well, let me think. My son would go like this, let me think. Laughing at people left the chat as soon as he said potato chips thrown away. Yeah, whatever. I will never filter myself because I can't. If I tried to filter myself, I wouldn't be effective. I have no filter. I just say whatever I'm thinking. Luckily, I'm never thinking anything evil, so it's okay. And what you see is what you get. So I'm not worried about being politically correct at all. It says it like it is. Because, I've dealt with some kids like that. They pick up on the fact that you're not contrived, that you're not pretending to be something you don't. You're going to be pretending to be a leader initially, but once you get this down, kids pick up on crap. They don't like phony. And that's why I think I connect with kids so well, because what you see is what you get, and they like that. They don't like to have to second guess what you're really like. This is what I'm like, right? I don't have multiple personalities or moods or anything. Kids like that. I'm consistent. I'm reliable. And that's what a leader is. You're reliable. You're predictable. Your videos have helped me so much with my 17-month-old and 3-year-old. Excellent. You're kind of coming out of the thick of it. A toddler and a 3-year-old is a preschooler. So the 3-year-old, you're kind of coming out of the end of it. But if you're not a leader, 3 is when they often find their power because they think, wait a minute, you're not a leader. I think I will be. So that's what happened. They'll often say, oh, they were just totally different. They were really easy until they turned 3. That's because you're not a leader, and they figured that out. Consistency is key. So long as you're doing the right thing, yes. I can't tell you how helpful it is just listening to you. Thank you for answering our questions. You're very welcome. I'm old too. I've been around the block a few times. I started mentoring troubled teens, not troubled teens. I started working or volunteering in daycare centers when I was 11 years old. And I was mentoring troubled teens. That was sort of the last thing I did with kids without my business. And I learned a lot. You learn more about life because they are how we all formed. If you study kids and teenagers, you can understand yourself. Like when you really take the time to listen to them and understand them, you learn a lot about yourself and about life, especially teenagers. They're my favorite age. I've never sent my 16-year-old for a sleepover to her friend's home. She insists me send her. You'd have to hire me for that. I don't know. I don't know what to say to that. I don't know. Like, I don't know the context. I don't know the friend. I don't know your relationship. So I don't know what to say. But at 16, you got to give them some power. Like you can't, I wouldn't. Yeah. I don't know what's going on there. So I have no, you'd have to hire me. If you want to hire me, it's usually 1 session a week, 5 sessions with teenagers. That's all in the link above. Because I'd have to assess the situation. I can't give you any advice on that. You don't really discipline a 1-year-old. You just have fun with them, bond with them, and they pick up pretty quick. How do I put this? They're not going to necessarily learn all this right away. It takes them time, right? They're going to try things. They're toddlers. They're growing up. They're going to eventually learn. But in the meantime, it's the way you react. If you get really good at connecting with them and playing in their world, they're more likely to watch you and listen to you. And they don't like your disapproval. Because the more you get, the better you get at connecting with little kids, like even almost babies, they're watching you. They're going to watch for your reaction. I remember my kids, I was the leader, their dad was the pleaser. And they'd be playing, and then something would happen, and they'd always look around for me to see my reaction. Like, am I doing this right, Mom? They're always kind of looking for your approval because you're very connected with them. You're very, oh, way to go. That's really good. But if I didn't say that, they kind of wouldn't do it. So they were always looking for my guidance and my approval from a really little age. So they'd be playing with it. He was a great dad, but I was the leader. So they'd be playing with their dad. And I can remember this, they'd be playing or something, and then they'd go to do something that they'd look around for me, and I go, and then they'd stop doing it from a really tiny age. So if you're a really good leader and you're really connected with that toddler, they're still going to look to you for approval and disapproval. Yeah. Parenting, I remember I was dying to be a mother. It was what I was born to do. I loved it. It was the most fun I ever had. But people used to say to me, well, Lisa, it's going to be a lot harder work than you think. I know you think it's going to be the best thing in the world. It was 100 times better than I ever dreamt it was going to be. I loved being a mom. It was the most fun I ever had. But yeah, I put the work in. I connected with my kids from a really tiny age, and they were very respectful. But you got to earn that respect, though. I didn't just expect it. I put the work in. So you got to earn it. You got to work for it. Consistent corrective action. With toddlers, it's not words, it's all actions because they can't stop and think. And that's what words are all about. Stopping and thinking and reasoning. They don't reason when they're 2 years old. It's ridiculous. It's consistent corrective actions every single time. If you do it 9 times out of 10, they'll remember the one time you didn't. It's not consistent. You got to be. That's why you only pick 1 battle per week. If you go on my behavior board, you'll notice it's 1 battle per week, 1 rule per week. If I went into your home and when I'm correcting kids and dealing with kids, I deal with everything in one go. For sure, guaranteed. I don't let anything go. But I'm level 10 with what I teach. I know how to be a leader. But when you're learning, it's not about the kids, it's about you. When you're learning how to lead, 1 rule per week, master it. And then the kids kind of look at you a little bit differently. Oh, they know what they're doing. By week 3, 3 different rules, 3 different behavior boards, you'll really see a difference. I have a whole course on Bratbusters Boot Camp, how to get respect in 5 weeks. It's just about you becoming a leader, right? And but the first 3 weeks are all behavior boards. Then week 4, you get away from the behavior boards. I never used a behavior board. That's the gold, is when you don't need the behavior boards. That's just teaching you how to give respect to get it. That's all the behavior board is for. It's organizing you. It's a system. It's teaching you how to start 1 step at a time. I was teaching. I've been doing this now for 17 years. The first year I was doing this, I didn't have a behavior board. And the parents were getting results, but nowhere near what I thought they should. And then I invented the behavior board and I put the parents on it too. And I haven't changed it in 16 years. That was the gold. Because I was trying to teach parents how to be accountable, but I didn't have a tool to do it. Anyway, I got a question here on YouTube. I have a 9-year-old who is testing me. I'm so tired. Okay, well, that's my course. If you've got a 9-year-old testing you, that's a tween. 9 to 12 is tween. My course goes from 3 to 12, not because the kids are the same, but your parenting style is pretty much the same. From a 3-year-old to 12-year-old. Teenagers, no, not at all. But yeah, the course is Bratbusters Bootcamp if you're interested, or just check out my free behavior board. That's all in the link. If you're on YouTube, that's in the link in the description. I got another question on YouTube. I'm taking care of my 53-year-old and she keeps wanting to be. Why do I read this stuff? Oh, geez. Okay, read ahead, Lisa. Read ahead. Children need limits, and they try your patience to see where their limits are. Speaking of it, they do stop. They don't try your limits past the age of 3.5. Once they know who you are and you're a leader, there's no point in testing your limits. So 3.5 is when 3 3/4 especially, but 3.5 is when they stop doing that. If they're still testing your limits at 6, you're not quite there yet. But 3.5, they usually stop testing your limits. Why would they? They already know them. They already know you know what you're doing. So yeah, they will test your limits up until about 3.5. Yes, they will. But after that, no. Boy, I get some silly. Oh, because YouTube, TikTok, I don't get this as much, but on YouTube, I'm quite new on YouTube. So I've been off and on over the decades here, but quite new on there. So you get all these new people who are like, who the heck is she? And then they start putting rude stuff out there. A lot of kids turn up everywhere. So. How much would it cost me for your help being in Austria or Australia? I'm from Australia. That's where my kids were born. How much would it cost in Australia? You mean Australian dollars? I don't know. If you look in the link above, it explains all my coaching. There's 1, 3, and 5 session packages. 3 is the baseline. 1 is usually people come back like maybe a year from now. They might come back and just sort of touch up. But sometimes people will just start with 1, then they upgrade because they just want to take me out for a test drive. And that's fine too. But yeah, just check it out. I don't know how much it would be in Austria or Australia. You said you're desperate. You know what's interesting is when I first moved back to Canada, it was because my mother was ill. That's why I came back here. My kids were 15 and 10. I'd never parented in Canada before. I'd only parented in Australia. It's quite different here. The school system's very different here. And how it's just different. I had to, anyway, it was quite interesting. Because I'd only parented in Australia, so. And especially all the baby stuff, like all the I never used the word diapers or anything in Australia. It was all nappies and prams and, all that stuff. It was quite funny. Anyway, I got some kids here on YouTube. They're obviously their parents, they're bored. As if they could throw me off. I worked with troubled teenagers, as if they could throw me off in any way. I often laugh at that. I've seen it all. Okay. You're in Canada. I thought you were in the States. I'm Southwestern Ontario. Yahoo. Yeah. And all of my finances are done in American dollars because all my business stuff is in American dollars too. Because sometimes Canadians ask about that. But yeah, all my expenses are in American dollars. So everything is. Okay. What to do an 8-year-old that has always been great, but now hits and throws at younger siblings? Now that's interesting. Why would they change? What's changed? It's always been great, but all of a sudden he's hitting his younger siblings. By the way, a really good punishment for that, and use my behavior board and say no hurting anyone else or no throwing things, whatever. Be very specific though. But generally, you put down no hurting others, but then you put in brackets, that means throwing things, hitting, biting, whatever. So then the consequence is every time he throws something at someone, they get to play with his favorite toy for the rest of the day or something like that. It's usually a really quick fix, that one. A lot of my clients love that one. It doesn't always work, but it can work beautifully. Don't mean to be rude. Is it affordable? I can't answer that. Depends on who. I'll tell you a funny story though. Oh no, I can't. I don't want to talk money, but oftentimes parents come in complaining about money because I don't know why. Oh, I guess because in school you get everything for free, right? So they expect me to, I'm running a business here. They expect me to be free. And so then they'll come back year after year and they'll go, yeah, I get it. But yeah, because you come through different things. I've had clients for years. Now I have clients who their parents had worked with me. So now I'm getting their kids to work with their kids. Interesting, eh? But yeah. Okay. I'm going to read this out. This is on YouTube. Most mothers in the Southern American states, a lot of my clients are from the South. I love that accent. Oh my God, I've got the cutest client right now. She's cute as a button. She sounds just like Dolly Parton. God, she's cute. And all my clients are younger than me now. So they used to be, I'm in my 60s now, but they used to be older than me sometimes. They're all cute as a button now, like my kids' ages, right? Most mothers in the Southern American states have what is called a look, and all of my kids understood the look. How do you explain that? The look just means I know what to do to back it up. My mom had the look. This was my mom's look. This was my look. Like, are you kidding me? Because they know you know how to back it up. If that's not enough for them, you're coming in. You're going, okay, tell you what. So yeah, that's all. It means you've got what, it's not just a bluff. You know, you've got something to back it up with. So yeah, I never had to do anything past that. Neither did my mom, because we had the look. Okay. I love all your ways and it makes so much sense. I think I must be struggling with the leadership thing. It is all about leadership. It's all about you. We're never fixing kids. We're fixing and teaching parents here. It's all about you. I have a full course called Bratbusters Boot Camp. You can learn how to do this in 5 weeks, or just start with my free behavior board. That's completely free. And it's just the start of all this. It teaches you how to set a system up so you can deal with one rule at a time. But it's just sort of the start teaching you how to do this. From Bama here. Is that Alabama? You can't access the behavior board. It just changed today. Literally. It should be in the link above. I'll check it out. I won't do it right now, but I'll check it out later. Just a sec. Yeah, it literally just changed today. So it's still the same, well, sort of the same, but it's a different setup. Okay. I was a single mom, by the way. The kids only need one leader. They only need one. So I wasn't a mom and a dad. They had a dad, but I was a single mom and they lived with me full time. So, and their dad was great, but they lived with me. But I wasn't trying to be a mom and a dad. I was just trying to be a dynamite leader, right? They only need one leader. But, that's the person they go to with everything. I remember once years ago, I was the leader, he was the pleaser. There's usually a leader and a pleaser, or an authority and a pleaser. There's never an authority and a leader. There never will be. It can't work together. Anyway, so I was the leader, and my mom was the leader, and my dad was the pleaser, and my ex-husband was the pleaser. I remember once I said to my ex-husband, so when the kids get older, I said, who wants to talk to them about sex? And I remember by the look on his face, I thought that's going to be me. Yeah, the look on his face was, I would say, sheer agony. Yes, Alabama. Okay, so Bama, you're on both. You're on YouTube and you're on here. Okay, well, I got some kids on YouTube there. They got their kids, their parents aren't watching them. Okay. Okay, may I ask, what was that going to be? May I ask how to stop a toddler to scream or shouting in gentle? I don't teach gentle parenting. You're in the wrong place. I do not teach gentle parenting at all. That's not me. So yeah, you're going to have to look that up on TikTok. That's not me. Dealing with a 21-month-old who cries for Grammy when I tell him no. So, so why would you react to that? It's just manipulation. Someone said to me, I'm a psychologist, and children can't manipulate till they're 4, they said, or something. Some of my clients are child psychologists. So yeah, they can manipulate at 21 months old. Absolutely. They get good at it by the time they're 3. It just means it works. It means it upsets you. If a kid said that to me, I wouldn't even hear it. It's like if a kid says something ridiculous, like let's say a 5-year-old says, not fair, not fair. I didn't know, you didn't get, I forgot. I remember, and I just go, whatever. Like I wouldn't react to all that crap, all that trying to get out of trouble, trying to get out of the consequence. But I forgot, it wasn't fair. You only told me once that was going to happen. Well, you'll know next time, won't you? Like there's no way I'd be manipulated. Don't give them the power. They don't really want it. You look at kids who have the power in a family and they're acting out, And then you look at kids who have a leader. Which one do you think's happier? Kids who are acting out and being disrespectful to parents are miserable. They have low self-esteem. They're miserable. Kids who have a leader generally are happier. Their emotions are more calm because they feel safe. They have a place to go. They have a safe place to land. They can tell you anything. What time is it? Oh, I got to go. Okay, I'm just going to look. No, nothing on YouTube. And let's see, I'll do one more question here on TikTok, and then I got to get going. So if you go in the link above, you can hire me for coaching. Buy one of my courses. I have many toddler courses. I also have my big Bratbusters boot camp that teaches you how to be a leader in 5 weeks if you have a 3 to a 12-year-old. If you have a teenager, that's usually 5 sessions coaching. And then I also have my free behavior board. You're on that too. That's what makes it work. Because if you're not accountable, your kids are never going to be accountable. They're watching you. They're not listening to you. They're watching you. Okay, so one more question. This one's a little bit tricky for me to answer here on TikTok, but I'm gonna tell you why. You said, is it mean to not allow a teen to have phone or iPad in bedroom at night? It's not mean, but it depends on the age. I probably wouldn't take it away from a 17-year-old unless they were failing at school. And then I would explain, look, you need more sleep, so we're gonna put this. Also, I would put mine away. I would say they're all gonna be locked up. They're all gonna be recharging. I promise I won't look at mine either. Okay, so sometimes you got to suffer with them, but yeah, it's not mean, but it depends on the situation. So that's not a real clear-cut answer. I can't give you everything with teenagers is negotiable, and it's not the same with any of them. They're all different. Anyway, I got to run. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll be back again sometime tomorrow. Anyway, if you look in the link above, everything's up there, and we'll talk soon. Bye now.